Should I call you Eminem or Marshall or Slim? What do you like to be called?
Eminem, Slim Marshall.
Eminem, Slim Marshall, all in one word.
Yoda, you can call me.
Many in the rap world today are so bent on looking out for themselves and making their kinds of special music that they don't always pay respect to those who came before them. Which is sad, because those who came before them not only paved the way for them, but at times made a killing in the process. Such as with Eminem, who at one time was the biggest musical artist on the planet, and his net worth is over $230 million, so he has the cash to go and do some really cool things. Given that, allow us to show you how Eminem spends his millions. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 10. An Oscar. You might think this is odd and arguably wrong way to start off this list, but hey, hear us out. Eminem does have an Oscar, and he technically bought it by making his own movie and his own music. See how that works now? But if you're forgetful on how this happened, Eminem made a semi-biographical movie about his life called 8 Mile, and the big song for that film was Lose Yourself, which is arguably one of Eminem's most recognizable songs ever. Sure enough, it got nominated for an Oscar for Best Song. But here's the twist. Eminem was so convinced that he had no chance at winning the Oscar that he stayed home. Actually, I was sleeping that night. I just felt like I had no chance of winning because, when I heard I was nominated, I thought that was for actors. It was a milestone win not just for him, but for the rap world as a whole. But here's one last twist for you. 20 years later, Eminem appeared at the Oscars and sang Lose Yourself, and the whole crowd was into it. So you can see why it's even more valuable now than it was back then. Many have been able to use rap to get nominated for songs by the Oscars and beyond, all thanks to Eminem. Number 9. Ferrari 575. Eminem is like many out there in that he has a lot of cars under his name. And he seems to have a very particular brand of car that he likes more than others, and that would be the Ferrari. In fact, he has a Ferrari 575 in his garage. One of the interesting things about the Ferrari 575 is that it was only in production for a few years, so it technically has a rare model of car now, especially when you realize that the car was only produced 2,000 times. It is hard to tell the price on the car because it is easily worth over $100,000, but when you factor in the rarity, that likely makes it much more. Number 8. Marshall Mathers Foundation. Charity as a whole isn't something that rappers are known for doing, well, for a lot of reasons. But Slim Shady does quite a bit, proving just how great he is. In fact, Eminem set up his charitable foundation called the Marshall Mathers Foundation, named after his real name, and used it to help people and kids all throughout Michigan where he grew up. He's been a big guy for Make-A-Wish too, and has flown out to meet kids who just wanted to see him. He has even donated $150,000 to the Change for Change movement. And even when he scores big wins from his lawsuits, he gives them a way to help people. He once won such a payout and sent the money to help victims of Hurricane Harvey. Like we said, Eminem is pretty great. Number 7. Large comic book collection. Eminem loves comic books, and by that we mean he really loves comic books. So much so that a producer from one of his labels actually saw his collection and called it otherworldly. Apparently, Eminem has such a large collection that he even has things that collectors don't have. For example, he has an Amazing Fantasy number 15. Why does that matter? Well, it's only because it's the first issue that Spider-Man ever appeared in. I have always been into comic books. Spider-Man, Hulk, old Batman, Superman, mostly vintage Marvel stuff before I was born, said Eminem once in an interview. Now, it is impossible to know the value of the collection without examining it, but it is no doubt worth a lot just due to the vintage comics that he has said he has in his collection. Number 6. Diamond Necklace. Okay, there is definitely a caveat on this entry, but you'll understand why it's here in a bit. So, being a rapper, you would expect a guy like Eminem to have a massive amount of jewelry, and he most certainly does. But one thing that he bought that really shocked many was a diamond-laced necklace that resembles a crucifix. The necklace itself was said to be worth about $450,000. But that's not the shocking part. What was shocking was that Eminem gave it away to a fan at a concert. He was performing at the Milton Keynes Bowl when he pointed to a young girl in the audience and went, "I'm going to give this to the sexiest woman I see." And he did, totally did. And the fan, needless to say, well, she was stunned, as was everyone else, to be fair. We've all heard of people giving away things at a concert, but a $450,000 necklace? That's not what you would expect. What happened to that girl in that necklace after Eminem gave it to her? The world may never know. Number 5. Porsche Carrera GT. Oh yeah, Eminem has a Porsche, specifically the Porsche Carrera GT, which is most definitely a high quality car and a high priced one. And not unlike other cars that he owns, it's rare. There were only 1,270 of these cars ever made, instantly making it more valuable. When they first came out, they were selling for almost $500,000. So add in the rarity of the car, and it could honestly be worth closer to $1 million. Think that's all that Eminem has car-wise? Oh, ye of little faith. Number 4, a Lamborghini Aventador. Yep, Eminem has the Lamborghini Aventador, which is prized as being something that both luxury car owners and sports car owners would love to have. In fact, it's actually considered one of the fastest cars in the world today. As for the cost, well, it honestly depends. The base model is about $400,000. However, if you want to truly supercharge it and make it your own, it can be added on, and that raises the price to around $700,000. Now, we should be clear that these aren't all the cars that he has, just some of them. So thus, it is fair to say that Eminem has spent millions on cars. Number 3, Rochester Hills Mansion. Not surprisingly at all, Eminem is one who likes a big house to live in. In fact, he actually has multiple houses that he calls home. One of them you can find in Rochester Hills, Michigan. Ironically, Eminem has had this house for quite some time. He's technically owned it for over 15 years, and when he bought it, it cost $4.8 million. Why is that so ironic? Well, when you think about celebrities, you think about how often they move around and go from mansion to mansion. Technically, Eminem did do that, as he doesn't use this particular mansion anymore, but it's not as bad as many people think. In fact, he is so fine with selling the house that he put it on the market for only $2 million. Now, if you're curious, it's 7,500 square feet with one massive pool. Also comes with a waterfall, a 6-acre garden, a tennis court, a wild game room, a guest house, and a room for 12 cars. Number 2, $1 million watch. Eminem doesn't just have a watch, he has a watch that costs $1.3 million, all via the Royal Oak Offshore 18-karat white gold diamond pave automatic men's watch. Now here's the breakdown from the site where you can get the watch. 18-karat white gold diamond pave case with 18-karat white gold diamond pave bracelet, 18-karat white gold diamond pave dial with black and gold hands, dial type analog, luminescent hands, date display at the 3 o'clock position, chronograph subdials displaying 3, 60-second, 30-minute, and 12 hours, automatic movement, caliber 3126, 3840 manufacture engine, scratch-resistant sapphire crystal, screw-down crown, skeleton transparent exhibition, see-through case back. Now, did he really need to get the watch? No, but does he have it and likely shows it off when he can? Yes. Number 1, Clinton Township home. Oh yeah, Eminem has had multiple houses during his rap life. Now, this particular mansion, called the Clinton Township home, is the current main residence of Eminem, which is supported by the fact that he sold the other house that we mentioned earlier. The house itself was actually built back in 1996, and he personally bought it in 2000 for $1.5 million. Now, we know there are certain things at the residence, including a conservatory and a massive swimming pool. We also know that the house is 8,900 square feet and has a big parking lot to be filled with all of Eminem's cars. Other elements are not well known though. Given how pricing is nowadays, and the fact that the house isn't fully known in terms of what it does and doesn't have, it is fair to say that it's worth much more than $1.5 million, and could be worth a whole lot more now should Eminem decide to sell it. But for now, he's living comfortably. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at Eminem and how he goes and spends his money at times? Do you think it's shocking how Slim Shady has spent his millions over the course of his career? Which of these items did you find the most shocking in terms of the purchase? Or which of these items do you wish that you had for yourself? Do you think he has any big buys left in him? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.